There was a family, the Kamal family, simple people with hearts stronger than the storms they had yet to meet. Daniel Kamal. The father was a man whose eyes always searched the horizon, as though he believed the world whispered secrets only he could hear. His wife, Liana, gentle and calm like river water, held the family together with hands that healed and words that softened every sorrow. Their children. Oh, what beautiful flames they were. Jabari, 15, a boy whose curiosity was larger than the sun, and little Zuri, 10, with a laugh that could mend a broken spirit. One bright morning, while the city of Nairobi stretched awake under a golden sky, they set out on a road trip they had dreamed of for years, a journey to Baobab Valley. A sacred place Daniel's father once said was where memories grow like trees, and every leaf tells a story. Their van was old, painted sky blue, patched and worn like a warrior's shield. But oh, they loved it dearly. They called it Safari Star, and it carried stickers from every place they had ever explored. When the engine roared to life, laughter poured from the windows. The world rolled past them like a living painting. Fields shining under sunlight, school children running barefoot with joy, market women calling out prices over the scent of ripe mangoes, and hills rising like ancient guardians. Inside the van, there was music. The music of a family who loved being together. Jabari filmed everything with his small camera, dreaming of one day showing the world the beauty he saw. Zuri filled the pages of her sketchbook with drawings of birds, trees, and people they passed. Daniel kept one hand on the wheel and one on his camera, always ready to capture a miracle. And Liana. She simply watched them all, smiling the smile of a woman whose heart was full. Ah, my child. Peace is a fragile thing. The sky that was once bright began to grow dark. Clouds gathered like troubled spirits, and the wind carried a warning. Soon rain crashed down, heavy, unforgiving, blinding. The road turned to mud. The van shook. And then came the sound no traveler wants to hear, a violent burst, sharp like a gunshot. The Safari Star shuddered and slipped to a stop on a lonely stretch of forest road. When Daniel opened the trunk, his face grew heavy. There was no spare tire. Oh, how fragile courage becomes when we feel small in a great big world. Zuri clung to her mother, trembling. Are we lost? She asked with eyes full of fear, and Liana, may blessings forever follow a woman with a strong heart, knelt down and wiped her daughter's tears. No, my child, she whispered. As long as we walk together, we are never lost. So they locked the van and began walking down a narrow path. The forest seemed alive, whispering in languages older than memory. Monkeys chattered overhead, birds called out warnings, and somewhere in the distance something howled. But they walked, step after step. Because family is not measured by comfort. It is measured by how we move through fear together. After some time, they heard something strange and beautiful: drums. Deep, rhythmic, full of heartbeat and earth. The kind of sound that feels like it is calling your spirit home. They followed the music until they found a Maasai village. Glowing beneath the sunset like a dream, red chukas dancing in the wind, spears glinting beneath the sky, voices rising and falling like the breath of the world itself. The villagers welcomed them without hesitation, with firelight, with food, with laughter. Ah, I have always believed that kindness is the greatest wealth a person can possess. The elder, Chief Ole Saitoti, listened to their troubles and smiled with the wisdom of centuries. No journey is walked alone, he said. Tomorrow, help will come. And help did come. At sunrise, young Maasai warriors repaired the van and guided the family to a safer road. They waved goodbye as the Camo family drove away, hearts fuller and spirits lifted. When they finally reached Baobab Valley, the sun was sinking and the world glowed gold. The trees stood tall like guardians of time, majestic, ancient, unbroken. Daniel walked to the oldest tree and placed his hand on its trunk. Tears glimmered in his eyes. For beneath that soil lay a memory, his father's final gift to the world. The family stood in silence as the wind moved through the branches, whispering like a voice from somewhere beyond sight. And in that holy quiet, they understood. Family is the greatest adventure. Not the destination, not the photographs, not the trophies of travel, but the holding of hands when the road becomes dark. They returned home changed, stronger, woven tighter than before. And Jabari's video, the story of their journey, found its way across the world, touching hearts far beyond their own. Even now, people say it made them want to travel again, not to see the world, but to see each other. And so, my child, remember this. The road does not shape the family. The family shapes the road. The Camo family, standing in silence beneath the ancient baobabs, the sun melting into the horizon like honey poured from the sky. It was a moment too large for words, the kind of moment that settles deep inside a person and lives there forever. But life, my child, is never finished teaching us. Even after the greatest beauty, the road still waits, testing what the heart has learned. As the shadows lengthened and the wind brushed against their faces, Daniel's voice trembled. You see, that valley held more than the memory of his father. It held regret, the kind that sleeps for years and then wakes suddenly. Daniel had spent much of his life chasing work, responsibilities, deadlines, and promises that the world demands from every man. He had missed moments, birthdays, gentle conversations with his father when the old man still lived. And now the old man was gone, carried away on wings only heaven knows. Standing before that ancient tree, something inside Daniel cracked. He knelt to the ground, bowed his head, and let the tears come freely. Tears he had hidden from his children for so long. Liana, oh, may blessings always follow such a woman, stepped toward him and placed her hands around his shaking shoulders. She said no words. She did not need to. Love sometimes speaks loudest in silence. Zuri and Jabari stood near them, watching their father's pain with new eyes. A child does not always know that parents also break, also bleed quietly, also carry storms inside their chests, and in that moment, the children grew older not in years, but in understanding. When night fell, they lit a small fire near the roots of the baobabs and sat close together, wrapped in blankets. Stars poured across the sky like diamonds scattered by a generous hand. The crackling fire seemed to speak, a language older than their bones. The flames danced and sparks flew upward, disappearing into the night like tiny brave souls. Daniel told his children stories about his father, how he used to sing while working the fields, how he believed trees were living libraries, how he taught him that the strongest roots grow in the storms. Not in calm seasons, Liana listened, holding her children against her chest, her face glowing in the firelight, like a queen carved from moonlight itself. And for the first time, they understood why this trip mattered. It was not a holiday. It was a homecoming. When morning came, the world looked new. The sun rose slowly, casting golden halos around the towering baobabs. Zuri woke before the others and sat cross-legged on the ground, sketchbook open, trying to capture the magic of that place. Her hands moved gently like a prayer. Jabari filmed the sunrise, whispering into his camera with a voice soft and full of reverence. I thought adventures were about excitement, but now I see they are about learning what your heart is made of. Daniel watched them, and for the first time in many years he felt light, like someone had opened a window inside his soul. He turned to Liana, and with quiet emotion he said, "Thank you. You are the compass that keeps us from losing our way." And Liana, wise as the earth itself, smiled a smile that held both joy and sorrow. One day, she told him, "Our children will travel without us. When they do, I want them to know what it means to belong to each other, to memory, to love." Ah, my child. Those were words worth carrying forever. When they finally began the drive back home, the road no longer felt threatening or long. The potholes were still there, the twists still sharp, but the fear had gone. Because once a family learns to walk through darkness together, the light never again feels fragile. They stopped in small towns to share food, to speak with strangers, to laugh freely. Everywhere they went, they left behind smiles, and took with them stories, and when they returned to Nairobi, life welcomed them back like an old friend. Jabari stitched together the footage from their journey, the storm, the village, the valley, the tears, the laughter, and uploaded it to the internet. He did not expect much, but sometimes truth grows wings. Within days, people from all across Africa and far beyond watched their story. They cried with them. They laughed with them. They remembered their own families, their own forgotten journeys, and over, people wrote, "This story reminded me what truly matters, so listen to me." Well, my child, the world is full of roads, some smooth, some broken, some frightening, some breathtaking. But the journey is never about the road beneath your feet. It is about the hands you hold while you walk. Love is the only map. Family is the only homeland. Memories are the only treasures time can never steal. And if ever you find yourself lost, walk together and you will always find your way.